Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Ultimate Fight podcast. I'm joined once again by James. How's it going, James?
You all right, Sam? How's things?
Yeah, not bad. How about yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, very good. Yeah, buzzing for this
I'm, s-
podcast. It's going to be a great one.
yeah, I'm still getting over at the weekend. That was a lot to take in.
The amount of messages you sent me, my phone is still like trying to catch up.
Yeah, I was too hyped. I was more hyped than usual. I think because we had like the fans back and the energy was there again. It was just unbelievable. It was a crazy, crazy card. Like I can't tell you how perfect that card was. You had everything. You had blood, submissions, knockouts, broken bones, violence, like everything you can think of. It had that. It was a perfect product.
Yeah, definitely. I think the range of fighters as well was really good. You've got obviously the leading women fighters. You've got the leading men fighters. Like you said, the crowd obviously makes a massive difference. And yeah,
Oh, it
it
did.
was good. It was great to watch.
Yeah. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about some. We're going to recap the UFC that was just like this weekend, and then James is going to talk about some upcoming boxing matches that are going to be on the 1st of May. Is that right, James?
That's right. Yeah, 1st of May.
Yeah.
We had a couple of boxing fights that were worth speaking about, and then yeah, next obviously May the 1st, and then just a bit of news. Yeah,
Sweet. So yeah, part one UFC and then part two boxing. We'll do it as like we normally do. Let's get straight into it. James, I have to say, I have to mention probably nearly every fight on the card because it was just unbelievable. UFC 261 in Jacksonville, Florida, sold out. These fans, they proper fired up all the fighters. They did not like. They went at it right from the very first fight, right from the prelims all the way to the main card.
there were so many
So
famous people there. So many famous people just got involved. Yeah, obviously ex-fighters. You saw one of Diaz brothers that got the crowd pumped, and obviously Jake Paul being there that got people
yeah,
like screaming his name and stuff like that, telling
so,
him to
so
to like
F off.
all the swear words in the world. Yeah, we're not going to swear on this show, but yeah, yeah, it's good. Obviously, like the crowd are there and stuff like that, and you got to love DC gonna slap Jake Paul. That must have been great to watch.
Yeah, it was. I was quite. I watched the clip shortly after I watched the event where
Yeah,
they had it. Someone was filming them backstage where they was in the crowd, and I
yeah.
think DC was pointing his finger at him, just giving them some warnings, like watch your mouth,
Because
sort of thing.
apparently all show like just clapping and stuff like that and trying to annoy him. But oh well. But no, like obviously the judges as well. No, I didn't mean the judges. The board that talk, Joe Rogan and all of that lot. They were just so hyped to be
Oh
back,
yeah, I've
and
never. I think it
obviously
was the most.
that was
I
great.
think Joe Rogan was the most excited I've ever seen. Joe
And that takes
Rogan.
a lot. That takes a lot of beating. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go into detail of all the fights. But I'm just going to mention the fights. What just like a small brief of what happened, and then move on to the next fights and stuff. So yeah, the car started off in the prelims with Ariane Carnlosi versus Na Liang. It was a women's strawweight bout. It was the first ever fight of the night. It was like one of those. When you watch like the undercard, the arena's normally empty. You got your early fights, and they're not really people don't really pay attention to them.
When we went to the
These
O2, Sam.
Yeah, exactly.
When
It
we
was
went to
exactly the
the
same as
O2,
that.
we walked all the way up to the ring.
Yeah, exactly the same as that, and it was empty, wasn't it? And there was just fighting in an empty arena. But this place was packed right from the very first fight, and these girls, they just as soon as that bell rung, it was just electrifying. They just went straight into the middle, throwing exchanges. There was some takedowns and multiple transitions. It was crazy. Ariane got the TKO win in the second round due to ground and pound. Very good fight. And then you had Jeff Molina versus Keeling Auri, I think it's called. Flyweight bout. This was fight of the night reward, so they got 50,000 each.
Wow, that's
Molina,
big for them.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Congratulations
huge.
for them
Yeah.
being the second fight on the card in the prelims, and they won fight of the night, which is crazy. Um, I don't know if you saw it, James, but Molina's boxing was incredible. It was sharp. He was so loose and pinpoint accurate. And Keeling, he just didn't stop coming. He was like a zombie. He kept absorbing shots and just kept coming forward. And then in the third round, he didn't even bother defending. He just taking them on the chin.
He was
And
split,
then the
wasn't he?
last,
He did have a cut, didn't he? He had a few
he
cuts
did,
on his
yeah,
face.
yeah, a
That's
few
yeah,
cuts,
when I saw that must
yeah,
have
he had a
just
few
been
cuts.
pure adrenaline. So
Oh,
yeah,
it was the crowd just getting behind them, and they just had non-stop energy. And then what else we had? We had Vargas versus Rong Zhu. This was a technical fight, a bit of showboating and an interesting stare down at the end of the round one. They just like stood across the cage from each other, just staring at each other.
you gotta love it.
And yeah, and then Vargas caught him in a nasty guillotine in the second round. I couldn't believe, but Zhu survived it. Like he was choking him. He was squeezing hard. You can see the fangs coming out the side of the neck, and yet he just managed to survive. And it's one of those things, right? When you get someone in a guillotine position, you're squeezing for dear life, and you're hoping they tap.
Yeah,
It's the nasty bit is when they survive it because your arm goes dead afterwards. So you're thinking the guillotine.
tired. Yeah, yeah. You have like literally you've wasted all your energy. You're having to wrestle the guy as well as trying to choke him as well. So there's going to be quite a lot of energy wasted.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those situations where like, oh damn, how did he survive that? And then you've got to try and get your arm, the blood flowing back in your arm again, and then try and get the win. But yeah, good fight that one as well. And
How
then
did
you
it?
had another
How
fight.
did it end?
Sorry, mate. Um, it was a decision by Vargas, won by decision.
Right. Okay. That was due to I'm
Yeah,
sure his submission game and stuff like that.
yeah, he landed the more strikes and he was dominant on the ground as well. So yeah, he got the win. Good fight as well. And then you had Dana Garrel, I think that's how you say it, versus Kevin Natividad. This in the very first round, Dana catches Kevin with a backwards left hook, drops Kevin and just follows up with some ground and pound, and that was done. He was done within the first minute of the fight.
That's quick.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
that's
quick one.
quick. Very
It was a
quick. Yeah. You
nice
got to
little
love
treat for the fans.
you got to love tricks and the power shots and stuff like that that you never saw coming. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
And that was just the early prelims. Then you go on to the proper prelims card, right? You had Patrick Sabanatini versus Tristan Cornelli. This one probably wasn't the most exciting one of the fight. This is probably the slowest fight of the night. It was a lot of grappling, a lot of transitions by both men, but Patrick managed to win by decision in that one. And then you had Brandon Allen versus Carl Robinson. This was a middleweight bout. Carl looked huge for a middleweight. Like you wouldn't think he's middleweight. He should be light heavy. The size of him was
Yeah,
he was a monster. He's a monster, and he can crack. He was hitting Brandon with some hard strikes. I don't know how he was still standing. And then the fight got to the ground, and then Brandon Allen just got a sneaky grab on his ankle and just locked it in and submitted him. One
really.
by ankle, yeah,
So the
one by
bigger
ankle
man
lock.
never wins. The bigger man doesn't always win.
Yeah, it was a bit like you remember back in the old days when you had Brock Lesnar in the UFC and he
Yeah,
fought Frank Mir,
yeah.
and then it was getting battered, and then Frank Mir catches that ankle and just wins by submission.
I do remember that.
It was like that. And then he had another fight, Dwight Grant versus Stefan Sekulik. This was a slow one, but it picked up in round two. Technical fight. Both fighters were like, I think because what it is, they were counter fighters, so they're waiting for the first one to go first. You get those fights sometimes.
Yeah, where you have to, it's a patient game, isn't it? Like it's like a game of chess. I always
Yeah,
say it like that. They always play like a game of chess. First move, then their counter attacks, and then their tactics change and stuff like that. It's impressive sometimes to watch. People will say
mm.
it's boring, but some people will say that's just what that's a technical fight.
Yeah. Everyone's got different styles, isn't they? But it's just one of those fights where when you've got two counter fighters, sometimes it's hard for one of them to go first, so it can take a little while. But yeah, it picked up in round two, and it was a good fight. Dwight Grant win by decision on that one,
All right.
and then you had the prelim headliner Alex Oliveira versus Randy Brown. Alex Oliveira is never in a boring fight. He brings the action every time, but Randy Brown looked good as well. He
Yeah.
yeah, he dropped Alex Oliveira, and then followed up with some strikes, and then got him in a rear naked choke and submitted him,
Love that.
which is quite which is quite shocking because he's a boxer. Randy Brown's a boxer. He doesn't have a lot of submissions in his. I think this is probably the first submission of his career, to be honest.
It must be working on it because obviously
Yeah,
must
because
you have to have different, like, obviously the whole point of it is having two or three different types of game, isn't there, really?
yeah,
And
you got to
skill.
work on all
Mm,
aspects, ain't you? If you're in
yeah.
MMA,
If you want to get anywhere.
exactly. But yeah, that was the prelims. That was crazy, mate. Like the best prelims I've probably seen in a while. I don't know if it's because of the fans were back or because I haven't seen it for a long time. It was just unbelievable, all on fire.
You got a standard of maybe the standard of the fights, the standard of
Yeah,
the prelims and stuff like that.
100%.
Yeah, you never know, do you really? But it's always good. Obviously, I always enjoy when we've gone to events. We've always watched a lot of the prelims, haven't we?
We have, yeah, we watch it from start to finish, don't we? When we
Yeah,
go
I
live.
always try and just make the most of it. You spent a lot of for the ticket, and then you can
Mm,
always find out them gems, like the people that you've never ever going to see again or before or whatever. But
yeah.
you never know. Like that highlight, obviously the second prelim. Imagine them people
Oh,
that are outside in the bar and they missed that.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They
No,
missed that.
that would annoy me.
100%. um, and then yeah, main card opens with a full crowd, sold out, more energy, more anticipation for the three title fights. By that point, my heart was pounding a lot, James. Like I was
Yeah,
just
no.
so in anticipation. The opening fight was Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute. This was a crazy like turn of events. What happened in this fight? So both guys were landing strikes, hard strikes early. Smith looked good, he was in good shape, and what was crazy was Jimmy Crute was the favorite going into this, which is crazy because Smith has over 50 pro MMA fights. So he's a real vet, and he's a former title challenger as well. But yet Jimmy Crute was the favorite with 12, and I think his record is 12-2. See, he's got nowhere near as many fights as Smith, which was mad. But anyway, Smith landed a hard leg kick to Jimmy Crute, and at the end of the first round, Jimmy Crute his leg just completely dies, and he got like drop foot, which Sean O'Malley had, where the nerve completely shuts down the leg.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, oh, yeah, I saw that Sean O'Malley fight. Yeah, that was horrible. Because I really
Yeah.
like him, and I think he's great to watch. And unfortunately, it wasn't great to watch because his whole leg was shut down. So
Well,
it's obvious. I'd be so if I was in the ring and that happened to me, I'd be so annoyed like that. I'd be
mm,
so like upset about it all because it's not like an injury. I mean, you can never tell that could happen, or you can never stop it from happening. It's just one of those things.
yeah. I mean, Jimmy Crute, when he got caught with a leg kick, yeah, his leg went completely dead. He couldn't move. He was just like limping to his corner, and the doctor was like, "Let's have a look," and then he was shouting, I'm good, I want to fight," and doctor waves it off, and
Wow.
then he starts punching the corner of the cage because he's so angry because
Yeah, I
he's like,
bet.
I can fight, he wanted to fight even with one leg. He was willing to fight.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's obviously you've been training for a long time for the fight, and there would be aggression, yeah. There, just if there's nothing you can do about it. It could happen
no,
anytime.
yeah. And then moving on, we had Uriah Hall versus Chris Weidman. This is the rematch. They first fought back years and years ago, like when they were amateur. Um, Weidman won the first fight, and Uriah Hall was looking to get revenge on the rematch. This was a crazy. No strikes were ever thrown. It was just one simple leg kick, and it was all over.
Yeah, such a
Um,
sad. There is obviously it's a graphic video, but it's
oh,
so yeah, it's so like so upsetting that could be like the end of his career, really,
well,
depending
I'm
on
still in
how
shock.
bad the break is.
Well, this is a crazy story to tell our listeners, I think, James. Chris Weidman fought Anderson Silva back in 2013. And Anderson Silva was formidable. He never lost fights. Like, he was like the greatest ever. Anderson Silva breaks his own leg after Chris Weidman checks the kick. Now, 8 years later, Chris faces Uriah Hall, and snaps his own leg the same way. Anderson Silva done it. You cannot write that stuff. What is the chances in that happening?
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense that that actually has happened in life. But yeah, it's horrible. It's obviously it's graphic to watch. It's upsetting for them as well. It's just you don't wish that on anyone in my eyes.
Nah, there's a nasty, nasty
Horrible.
injury.
Yeah, it's just not nice at all. It's just
Yeah,
it's not how we like the game to finish. Do you know what I mean? Like you want the fight to be aggressive. You want them to trade and stuff like that. You know what? Taking a win like that must be a bit demoralising. You saw how upset the guy was as well afterwards.
I 100% because he trained so hard. He put all that time into training camp for it to. He didn't even get to display what he had been training for.
And
Do you know
Hall,
what I mean?
and Hall, he had
And
his.
that's what I meant. Hall.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry, yeah, Hall. Yeah, he was gutted as well. He was gutted for him, I think.
yeah. I did just watch a video he posted a couple of hours ago. Weidman said he's in good spirits. He just had surgery on his leg, and the doctor said to him he won't be able to walk on I think it's 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks before he can walk, and 6 to 12 months before he can even train. He says he still wants to come back
He
and
still
give
does.
it another go. He still does, yeah. He said he wants to come back. So,
Yeah,
which is heart of a lion. That guy.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think you do, don't you? Like, even in any sport, when you get an injury, you always want to come back and be even better than you was before. So, see what happens. Good luck to him.
Yeah, I hope he has a speedy recovery and see him back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hopefully he recovers fully fit. Definitely.
And then we had the three title fights that was headlining the card. We had Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade for the flyweight championship. So this was crazy building up because on paper they were saying Jessica Andrade was going to be Valentina's hardest challenge because of what she brings to the table, the aggressive striking, the Vanderlei Silva style. But Valentina was absolutely dominant. I mean, her striking was so fast. Her ground game was just like perfect. Andrade couldn't get anything on her. She just had nothing. Again, she had nothing that Valentina was worried about.
I
Did you
thought she
watch
was
that,
very
James?
impressive. I thought she was strong throughout. The bell rang and it was literally let's go. And I thought they were both very very good fighters. Obviously, their records prove that, but she just looked like she outclassed her
Oh,
in
like she was
every
nothing.
in every
Treated her
level.
like she was
Yeah,
nothing.
every
Um,
level. Like I just can't see how that fight happened like that, but it did, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, so Valentina got Andrade in a crucifix, and then she just unloaded with some elbows, busting her open, and just gets the win by TKO. Or was it a submission? I don't know if it's submission or TKO, depending on that position, because you can't get out of it. You're kind of stuck in that position. But I
Yeah, I
believe it was.
don't think it is a submission because she didn't tap.
Yeah, it's TKO, isn't it?
I think it's TKO. Yes,
Yeah.
because they're not responsive.
But my question is, James, who's next for Valentina? Like, she's cleaned out a division. There's no one there.
Unfortunately, there is no other. There is no other fighter in that division. Someone's got to move. Either she goes up or goes down. Um, there's no other one, or it must or an upcoming fighter. But yeah, I can't see anyone coming out and beating that lady. She's super
No,
good. She is. She is. Yeah, the goat of that division. But yeah, who knows? Someone might come up. Someone might fight her and caught her off guard. But let's just see. But I don't think there will be for any time soon. If you know what I mean. Any recent fires.
no, we have to see what happens. I'm sure there'll be some up and coming talent that'll be in that'll be coming up that want to challenge her.
I'm sure there will be. I'm sure.
And then we had the co-main event: Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Wei Li for the women's strawweight title. And this was crazy because Wei Li Zhang was on a 21 fight win streak and coming off a fight of the year as well against Joanna Jacek last year. Rock, Thug Rose shocks the world again with a stunning head kick, wins the fight by knockout. which is absolutely unbelievable in the first round as well.
It was
Made it look easy.
it was a great, yeah. It was seriously a good knockout, wasn't it? And it was
Ah,
great for the fans as well. Obviously, everyone loves a knockout, but when it's done like that, I can't believe she thought that she could carry on after receiving that kick to the head.
well, this is the thing. Did you think it was controversial, the stoppage? What was your think on the stoppage?
No. I'm being
Because she was,
blunt as possible. She was stumbling. She's
because
stumbling
apparently,
across all over the place.
because she was protesting, wasn't she, saying she wasn't out and all this sort of stuff. And
I don't agree. I think that was completely the right decision. I thought she was flat out, and then obviously woke up, and then got back and and was dazed. I don't know, but I thought she was completely out. What did you think?
I don't know. I watched it again, and I was looking. She wasn't out, but she wasn't moving either. So you got to give the ref any reason to not stop it. I mean, whether you're in it or not, you got to show him something. Just show a little bit of movement.
You
Do you know
got
what
to
I mean?
guard.
Just
You got to show some guard. Show that you're protecting yourself. You
yeah.
show
I
that
mean,
you
I
have
think
intent to carry on.
yeah, she laid in that same position just for a couple of seconds too long than she needed to. If she was okay, if she was okay, she immediately protested afterwards, but she was wobbly on on when she was standing up as
Oh
well. So
yeah, she didn't stand still. She was
no, so
definitely
she
like
wasn't.
floating all over the place.
Yeah, she was definitely fighting all over the place. So it was a weird one. Um, Dana White says he's going to do the rematch for them two.
Good. That'd be good.
So that'll just finish all arguments, wouldn't it? All the debates. Just do a rematch.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Do the rematch. Get kicked in the head again. You could complain again.
Yeah.
Maybe she might have to do it with the left or the right, whichever one she landed.
We shall see. Then we had the main event: Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, the rematch. Masvidal looked in incredible shape, mate. Like he looked so he looked like he trained hard for this fight. Usman also he looked really good as well. I mean, Rogan said it correct. He looks like a freak specimen,
Yeah, I
freak
do.
athlete.
I do think that like Usman is now going to be has to be regarded as the best pound for pound fighter in the UFC. Like now,
Yeah,
it has to be like that. He is up there with the greats. Yeah, because when I was watching the fight as well, they were commenting on obviously Masvidal kicking the legs of Usman, and he's got quite a small leg frame. It's quite skinny legs,
yeah,
but he moves. He uses that obviously for his agility and stuff like that. But yeah, it didn't phase him at all. Like the
no,
what he
no.
was doing.
Usman just yeah, he was the man of the fight when he
He was
um
unbelievable. I really thought he was great. Obviously, Masvidal wasn't out of that fight. That was continuous pressure as well. It's just everything
yeah.
that was thrown at him. Usman just threw it straight back, and that's why I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. It was. I mean, yeah, he took him down, didn't he? But Masvidal was still hitting him with loads of elbows and from the back. He was
Yeah,
still
that
getting a
looked
good.
painful. That looked
It
painful. I
did,
thought
yeah,
that was on top of their heads as well. Like, don't know how he kind of got away with it, but Usman, I noticed, punched Masvidal in that grapple when they had it on the floor, where
yeah,
they're all throwing whatever they could. There was
mm,
quite a lot of like back of the head damage, but no one
there
like
was.
seemed to care because they were enjoying it so much. Oh, I
Yeah,
don't care about that, but
it was a good fight though. They got some good strikes in the first round. Then in the second round, Usman just knocks out Masvidal
did you see
out
it on the
cold.
stare off as well? Like in between, obviously after the round one, they were up
Yeah, I saw
quite
that.
close to each other,
Yeah,
weren't they?
yeah, that was quite
You
interesting to
just got
watch,
to
wasn't
love
it?
that, don't you? You just got to love that kind of mentality. It's so
Yeah,
good.
it's like so I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you.
But yeah, that's crazy. Because Masvidal's never been knocked out in a pro fight. I think in 50 pro fights, he's never been knocked out. That's the first time he's ever been knocked out.
I'm not. I'm telling you, that punch would have knocked out anyone. It was
Yeah, but
such
it
a
wasn't even a
hard.
hook. It was a straight jab, wasn't it?
It was just no, but it just the intent. It looked like it
Yeah,
was going to go like he could have punched a watermelon and his fist would have gone through it. That's how hard
yeah.
it looked like. So hard.
Yeah, I saw the sweat just like splash off his head, and
Yeah.
oh, he just put him out cold. Then he followed up with some hammer fists as well. Herb Dean was already putting him off, but he just didn't stop.
Yeah, I know. He's trying to
He's
hold back to him.
trying to get a few more in.
But no,
But
well deserved. Like really great fight, and obviously
yeah,
champion for a reason. Next, obviously, Conor McGregor's calling him out. He's
yeah.
responding to the call out. That Usman's given him. I don't know. I don't know how that goes, but
I think too.
that Usman is unbelievable.
I think Usman's too big for Connor.
I know. Yeah, I feel the same. I think the same as well. I think that
But
Usman is too big. But
Dana said in his post-fight conference that Kobe is next. They're going to do the rematch, Usman versus Kobe 2. That's going to be unbelievable. I don't know if you watched their first fight, James, but it was
yes.
like it was like fight of the year. One of them anyway. It was insane. Back and forth, absolute war.
What's your opinion on Kobe?
I don't like him as a person, but I like him as a fighter. He does bring good fights in the cage. He doesn't bring a boring fight. He's always pushing the pace and he's trying to get the finish every time. But as a person, no one likes him. He's a bit of an idiot, and he's a bit
He's
mouthy.
got a bad
But
mouth, isn't he?
yeah, he's very mouthy. He's very cocky.
He's already said to him he's going to kill him. Stuff like that. I don't. You just don't want to hear that, do you?
No,
Usman's like, I broke your face. I broke your face. Did you see that? Did you see it on the interview?
yeah.
He's like, I broke
No,
your
so
face. I broke
he
your
broke his
face.
jaw,
You
man.
don't want this.
He broke his jaw.
Yeah, I know. I love Usman.
Kobe fought. Kobe fought with a broken jaw.
I love Usman so much for doing that because I can't stand Kobe. If you
No,
like,
as a person,
as
he's
a
horrible.
person, and then when he walks into the ring and he doesn't do that great, I
Mm.
just feel so happy. Like, but oh well, people have their favourites and people don't like their other people. But yeah,
No, but I'm very excited for the rematch. I
yeah,
think that'd be good.
definitely, yeah, definitely, it'll be great. But
I
what a
guess.
card! It was unbelievable.
Unbelievable card. Unbelievable. I loved it. I watched it all again. Like shortly after I watched it, I just watched it again. I had to do it.
Nice, nice. So it's obviously. Did you watch it with your dad?
He watched the three title fights with me,
Oh, nice.
and the Chris Weidman fight as well. But I
What,
watched the prelims by myself.
what did he think? What did he think of it?
Oh, he loved it as well. He said it was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I thought it's great. Obviously, I think brings people back into the sport as well when they can go
Yeah,
and watch. UFC is like that.
yeah, I loved that.
It brings people
It's
in,
brilliant.
definitely.
Oh, James, guess who's coming back as well?
Who
Nick Diaz.
is Nick Diaz coming back? Because he
He's
looked.
coming back.
I
He's
saw the
coming back.
picture of him on Instagram, and he's looking in great shape. I saw him in the crowd, and he's like,
Yeah.
obviously, who is he
So
going to fight?
Well, so this is what happened. So Don was doing his conference, and someone said, "Oh, Nick Diaz was seen in the crowd. Is there anything going on with that?" Dana said, "He's in the back right now, waiting for me to have a meeting." That's what Dana said, and then they said, "Oh, about fight," and Dana said, "Yes, he's interested in fighting." How crazy is that? So I don't know who's going to fight, but they're talking about maybe Hamzat, that the guy who was he had a massive big highlight reel in 2020. He had like 3 victories within the space of 3 weeks or something.
Oh, he's really tall, isn't he?
Yeah, the Chechen guy.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
people were comparing him to Khabib.
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, so they're talking about maybe that fight, or there's other fights in talks as well. But they're trying to decide what weight class he's going to go to first as well. As a fan, I'd like to see Masvidal versus Nick.
Yes,
I think that's a good fight to make because
that'd be a
because
great fight to make.
because Nick's been off a long time, and Masvidal's just had a loss. So instead of throwing Nick it straight into the top straight away, let him have a tune-up fight. I think that's a good fight to make.
That'd be great.
For, yeah, and it'd be good for the fans as well.
Connor?
Connor, I don't know. He's 155. I mean, Nick's either going to do 170 or 185. So
Ah, okay.
it's,
Yeah.
it's possible. You could do it at 170 maybe, but it depends on Nick. I mean, he's 37 now, so I don't know if he can make 170 anymore. We have to see if he can make
The fighters can
welterweight.
do what they want, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if I'd imagine, though, I reckon he'll go up to 185.
Yeah, good. No, that's seeing back because I remember right when he first left, he had to pay Dana White £70,000 to fight again. Do you
Did he?
remember? Yeah, I think there was something about it. Like there was like
Mm.
a feud, and they didn't get on, and something wasn't paid, and Diaz had to pay 70 grand or something like that. And
I think you had to pay the commission, I believe.
yeah, he had to pay something else, and then he didn't want to do it, so he never joined the UFC again. And now
Yeah,
obviously they want him back. So that's cool.
yeah,
I
they
like
want him
that.
back.
I'm happy with that.
I like that a lot. I mean, James, imagine Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz on the same card.
Yes, please.
The Diaz brothers headlining
Yes,
UFC.
in their
That'd be
hometown.
insane.
In their
In the
hometown.
hometown. Yeah,
Yes. Happy
absolutely
days.
insane.
That'd be so good.
It would. That'll do big numbers as well.
Massive numbers. Massive numbers. Even like Conor McGregor fighting Diaz as the main
Oh,
fight.
yeah, even that would be huge.
That'd be great. But yeah, what's
Exciting
happening next
times.
week? Anything happening on UFC next week or not really? Bit quiet now.
Next week is we've got a light heavyweight main event. So it's Dominic Reyes is returning to fight someone called Jiri Poschaka. I think that's how you say it. It's a light heavyweight top contender fight. Should be a good one. And then co-main, you got the return of Cub Swanson. He's always in a good fight. I love Cub Swanson. Anyone who loves violence like me, he's a fan of Cub Swanson.
Nice.
Um, he's fighting a guy called Giga Chikadesi, I think his name is. That should be a good one. And then you got Iron Kutalaba fighting on that card as well. He's a madman, that guy.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
never really heard of him. I've probably seen him, but I've never heard of him.
Have you seen the highlight? It's probably been on Facebook. Do you remember when the guy walks across to the cage to the other guy while Bruce Buffer is doing his announcing? He does the slice throat thing, and then he pushes him, and then they go crazy, and then it gets stopped really early.
Yeah, I think so. I think I did.
Do you remember that?
I think I do.
Yeah, it's that guy.
Ah, right, okay. I told you I've
So he's a
probably seen
madman.
him before.
Yeah, he's fighting a guy called Dustin Jacoby, which should be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all from me for UFC on my side. That's all done.
Nice.
So nice bit of action, guys. We'll see you again in just a minute for part two. We'll put you over to James to talk about boxing.
Hi guys. Just wanted to obviously have a chat with you about obviously the couple of fights that happened this week. And there was a few. I've picked out some of the best, to be fair. Felix Cash versus Denzil Bentley. I really enjoyed the fight. I like Felix Cash. I've been following him for a while now. Announced he pretty much with this fight announced himself as a contender in the middleweight division, as he's added a British middleweight title to the Commonwealth title that he's already held. He done really well throughout the fight. Persistent on throwing the consistent jab of his, and yeah, he just fought. I thought he fought really well. Did you watch it, Sam, or did you not get a chance?
No, I watched it. Yeah, he made a statement, didn't he, in that third round?
He was really good, like throughout, and then obviously that ruthless third round stoppage. And yeah, I think it was really good, especially as Bentley is unbeaten as well.
Mm.
And obviously the two British lads, boxing world. It's not really like obviously high like epic fight at the moment, but he's just building his way up nicely through the leagues, through the ranks. I think he's doing really well for himself, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%.
I
It
think
was
he's
it was a good.
yeah. Go on, Sam.
That's what I was going to say. That it was the perfect fight to make because they both had very similar records. So like Cash was 14-0 with 10 KOs, and then Bentley was 14-1 with 12 KOs. So it was like very similar, like in terms of their experience in the ring. So it was a good fight to make.
One of the things is as well, which is quite interesting. Obviously, because Cash is with Eddie Hearn and Bentley's with Frank Warren. Uh,
Ah,
that hasn't happened in a long time. right? It's really odd. The last time the British middleweight title had been decided in such a way was 2013 when Billy Joe
That long
Saunders
that
went
long
with
ago.
Warren and beat Hearn's guy John Ryder. That's such a long time ago that no one crosses over from Hearn and obviously Warren's team. It's
Wow.
crazy to think, isn't it?
That is mad, yeah.
I
That is
don't get it.
crazy.
But yeah, obviously Cash caught Bentley early and kept him under pressure throughout before forcing the stoppage, which I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Vicious, like a series of like right hands. Just gotta love it when you know where the guy's going out and you've just got to just empty the tank on him. That's always the best way around it.
And his hands were low as well. He had like hands down, just catching him with like was it 4 or 5 shots that
Yeah,
he caught him with?
yeah, it's like continuous right hands.
Yeah,
So yeah, you're not gonna last long
absolute
absorbing
class,
them. Do you know what I mean?
hundred
Cash
percent.
commented afterwards saying, I want the third belt now. I want the European. Then we'll move on. We've
Ooh,
got a lot of big names out there. You've got like Chris Eubank, Liam Williams, and like others. So obviously these are quite quite a rank above. So I'm looking forward to watching him. To be fair, aren't you?
yeah, 100%. He's definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Definitely, no, completely agree. Also, we had Callum Johnson versus Emil Markic. Obviously, Johnson being in the later kind of side of boxing, 35 years old, fought. He's got 19 wins now, one loss, 14 knockouts. So that's a serious record there.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't fought in 25 months though, so it's been
That's a
quite
long
a long
time.
time since he had his last fight. But geez, this guy, right, he's just such a warrior. He just like will battle, and battle, and battle. Even if he absorbs some absolute shocking punches, he was wavy at one point in the fight, and he
Well,
just
he took a hard right hand, didn't he, in that first
yeah,
round?
really hard. Like it was.
Didn't come back from it.
I thought he was going to sleep, but no, he obviously did really really well. Um, Obviously it resulted in a great first round, which Johnson won, but also saw him like eat that brutal right hand. I didn't realise that how good Markic was. Um, I thought he was just your standard guy, but 32, 32 wins, 3 losses, 24 knockouts.
That's mental. That's a really good record.
That's a really good record. I didn't realise. I obviously haven't really looked into that kind of side of things, fight wise, and I was just super impressed. But now, obviously, well, Britain's of collective of obviously that kind of weight class has now like really grown. So you've got like a Coley, you've got Yard, you've got the person who's got the title at the moment. They're all English fighters, and they're all just building up on the ranks. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of English fighters coming up, and it's just brilliant to see. To see like Britain's back on top.
Yeah, no, it's great, and obviously they're doing really super well. Obviously, like last year and this year, there's been some like proper upsets. But I think now, I don't know,
Huge upsets.
crowds and stuff like that. There's going to be some really big fights coming up for like obviously Conor Ben, Yard's fighting soon. Billy Joe Saunders is fighting, obviously one of the best in the world. You've got obviously the AJ Fury fight. These are all like great English boxers, and then all the ones I
Yeah,
haven't mentioned, all the ones that are coming up as well, which is good. Obviously Joyce, um, you've got Dubois, you've got
Usyk,
yeah, Usyk. Yeah, yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be like obviously for British fighters, it's going to be great.
100%. Going back to Johnson though, so when he won the fight in round two, he called out a guy called Joe Smith, who's the current WBO champion. He
Yes,
says
that's
he'll
what I
he
meant.
says he says he said he'll jump in it next week with him. That's how confident he is right now.
That's good. Like obviously, that's a great obviously mentality to have.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if he should jump in there next week. I think he should have a little bit of
no,
a rest. Obviously, he's not the at prime age, but
yeah. Frank Warren said he'll book him for June.
be great. I think that would be
Yeah,
a great fight to watch. To be fair,
that'd be a great fight.
I think that'd be really good. Like obviously Johnson can absorb punches, and can really give obviously punches out as well. Obviously
Yeah,
that second round stoppage was brilliant. So
yeah. He did not them body shots, did he? He
no,
hated them body shots. I noticed.
yeah, he wasn't that great at body shots, but I think he proved himself quite well. Obviously, being 25 months out and then fighting someone like him, and just
Yeah,
proving
no
that
ring rust there.
yeah, no ring rust whatsoever. Impressive, really impressive.
Very impressive.
That was only the fights that I really saw and really like shone out to me this weekend. Obviously,
Hmm.
we got some great fights coming up. Um, Andy Ruiz, his photo. I've
Oh my god,
noticed he's lost like half of his body weight.
the transformation,
Even his
insane.
tattoos look skinnier. I don't know how that even works. I don't know how that works, but yeah, obviously, he's got a fight against Chris Arreola on May the 1st. It's going to be obviously the battle between two big men. And
That's bombs away. That's bombs away, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go away for popcorn.
yeah,
Someone's going to sleep
yeah,
in that fight.
I think there is going to be it's going to be a scrap, and I love the fact that that's going to happen because I don't think they're going
Especially
to go like toe to toe, like one tap, two tap. I think it's going to be like
no,
fewer.
especially James when you've got two Mexican heavyweights that going at it. There's a little bit of a difference when you've got Mexicans going at it as well.
Yeah, I know. I know.
They got because they got cardio for days, so they can just keep going till round 12 and still be throwing it fresh, staying fresh.
Yeah, I think Andy Ruiz tips it. I think he's
I
going
think
to be
so.
favourite going into the fight. To be fair,
Mm,
obviously he has lost a lot of weight, and that could contribute to certain things. But I think he's going in like the best he can be. Um,
yeah.
both both Mexican heavyweights, both have like their history of lacking discipline during training, so like really struggling to leave like go underweight or find themselves in a really good shape. So now obviously
Mm.
Andy Ruiz has done that. I think that's really good. I think that's going to be like Andy Ruiz's record though: 33 wins, two knockouts. No, sorry, 33 wins, two losses, 22 knockouts.
Insane.
It's great, isn't it? And now he's
Yeah,
got
one
like
of them over
even
Anthony Joshua.
now he's got like a even better trainer as well, and he's lost all that weight. I
He's
reckon
gonna be an
he'll,
animal.
I reckon he'll fight this Areola, and then he'll fight someone proper decent, either like
Wh-
White, Parker, Chisora, any of that level.
Well,
Dillian White.
I expect Andy Ruiz to come out making a statement in this fight. He wants to be seen as that he was a legit heavyweight champion, and he wants to prove that he's still at the top. So I think watch out for Ruiz to get an early finish in this fight.
Yeah, definitely. I also read that like Andy Ruiz once went into a boxing fight at £310.
No way, that's like super heavyweight, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's not even
and he
heavyweight.
now plans on fighting at no more than 255. So even though them photos are like showing him quite slim, he's still quite heavy.
Yeah, 255. That's still heavier than. What did Joshua weigh in his last fight? Can you remember?
18 stone
Is it 18
or
stone?
8 or 19, one of the two. So that's quite a lot
But
still.
yeah,
You're still looking at
it's quite a lot.
Ariola's comment was hilarious as well. He said, boxing is not a bodybuilding sport. It doesn't matter if you're effing body like Taizan. If you fight like Jane, who cares? What a comment. That is such a good comment. Yeah,
That's man.
but yeah, he's going to get
Mental.
knocked out, I think. Anyway, next one. Obviously, the card, Eddie Hearn's card's great.
Oh, it's a cracking card.
It's brilliant. Derek Chisora,
Absolutely stacked.
yeah, Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker as the main fight. Katie Taylor versus Natasha Jonas. Bivol versus
That's
Craig Richards. That's going to be another great fight. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Marcus Morrison. I think
oh
that's a
my
bit of a
god.
mixed match. I think Chris Eubank wins that comfortably. Um, James Tennyson versus Giovanni Stefron. So all of these fights are going to be quite decent to watch, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the Katie Taylor Natasha Jones fight because there's all the lightweight titles on the line, undisputed. Should be a good one. Um, Derek Chisora, it's always good to see him back. I've always enjoyed watching his fights.
I love
I
Chisora.
think,
I love him.
yeah,
I think he's so good.
he's never in a boring fight. He always brings the action every time.
He'll always consume it as well. The whole fight, he'll get like if he loses, he'll get absolutely battered, but stand on his feet, and I love that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, he's got that kill or be killed mentality.
Yeah, definitely. Joseph Parker obviously beaten not that impressively the last fight. I don't think he looked that good. So hopefully he
No, I don't
trained
think
up
he.
quite
Yeah,
well after that. Yeah, it's going to be great. I think some of them fights are going to be unbelievable. I just wanted to
oh,
mention
100%.
the last thing. Don't know if you heard about Ryan Garcia. He's withdrawn from his 9th of July fight really early. He was going to fight Javier Fortuna, but unfortunately, he's trying to manage his health and his well-being. Being such a
Hmm.
like obviously social media minded and really popular in obviously in the sport. Do you think that's come like at a price for him?
Yeah, because I think he should have taken this fight. This fight was important for him, I believe, for his career. So I was quite disappointed to hear that he pulled out of the fight.
Yeah, I know. It's obviously such having such a great fight against Luke Campbell earlier on in the year, which we were really
Yeah,
impressed with. He's ranked at one of the most the world's. This is what I've got. He's ranked at the world's 12th most marketable athlete because of his social media following. And what he said is, I've decided to take some time out to focus on becoming a stronger version of myself. Um,
maybe he feels he's not ready.
I just feel like um, I don't think. Well, I think obviously social media is great to sell yourself, to sell tickets, and sell stuff like that. But I also think he's gone like too much into it. So obviously the TikToks, the Instagrams, the this, the that, the allegations of cheating, um, having a baby. I think being a 22-year-old lad, I think I don't know if he's had a baby or not. I may have just made that up. But obviously, just growing up in obviously these times, I think he's just decided that wow, this is too much.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll carry on fighting because I think he's very, very impressive. I think he'll be one of the best. But yeah, if it's
Well,
eating at him,
apparently, well, I don't know if you know James. Apparently, when he was younger, he suffered from serious anxiety and panic attacks, and he had some mental health struggles as well. So he was dealing with some crazy stuff when he was younger. Maybe it's starting to maybe he's having like a flare up now, and that's
hmm,
why he needs to take the time to get himself back to normal.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, obviously this fight was only announced 2 weeks ago. So obviously, yeah, it must have really affected him. I really
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think it was just overwhelming. I think he just needs to take some time to just relax, spend time with the family,
Yeah, go back.
get
Yeah,
back in
go
the
back and
get back in the
yeah,
gym, and let's see if he becomes a stronger version, like he says.
be good, wouldn't it? I think it'll be good.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm hoping
He's
I hope it all goes well and stuff like that. I
yeah,
think soon, surely, Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo, like the whole press conferences happen soon, right?
it should be because it's May the 8th, isn't it, or May the 7th?
Yeah, surely it's like normally a week
What?
before, isn't it?
I'm just looking at dates. Yeah, so they're fighting on the May the 8th. So yeah, they should be having a press conference very soon.
Their press
And
conferences, all the media stuff. He's been quite quiet. Like
yeah,
for Billy, like obviously he's so good at like speaking his game and stuff like that. So I'm surprised there's not been enough, like a lot more. But I think I like that kind of side of Billy. If he can do this kind of stuff, he's in great shape as well. Tommy,
yeah, five.
yeah, Tyson Fury did a picture of him, or he shared a picture of him, and he looked in the best shape he's ever been.
Yeah, he does look like in crazy shape. He's training very hard for this fight. But Canelo also looking in great shape, but he always looks in great shape.
Oh yeah, I don't think he
Um,
ever doesn't. Yeah,
but for people who are listening to this episode tonight, um, watch the press conference when it's on, because it should be interesting. Billy Joe Saunders should try and get under the skin of Canelo, and it'd be interesting to see how he can implement that, and if it affects him on fight night. We'll post a link on Facebook so
Yeah,
people can watch
definitely.
it when it's live.
Yeah, definitely. Also,
Should
I,
be
I
interesting.
watched I watched something really good. It was Tony Bellew, who's one of my all-time favorite fighters. Um, I I watched a video. It's on called the Four Challenge. It's got Tubes from Soccer AM on, and he does like this golf interview basically, and it is very very entertaining. So if you do like Tony, please do go and watch that as well, because that was hilarious. I enjoyed every minute of it. So
I
yeah,
still need to watch that.
it's such a great thing. He talks about like his anger issues, how much he's missing boxing, how much obviously leaving boxing affected him. Obviously the David Hay fight, his hatred for other fighters, the fact that his younger brother's gay, loads of stuff like that. So, and he's got a book out as well. So I'm definitely going to get that book, or the audio book, because I'll
Mm.
listen to that while I'm like in the car or something like that. But yeah, that's me all finished for boxing. Um, we'll be on next week with a very big episode for everything that we need to talk about from May the first fights. It's going to be exciting. So I hope you've enjoyed this show. And yeah, Sam, it's been great again.
Yeah, great again. Nice to speak to you, and nice. I'm glad that all you guys are still tuning in every week. We appreciate it a lot, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, see you soon, guys. See you soon, Sam.
See you later, mate. Take care.